It is Wednesday, December 11th, 2024. Almost said the wrong year. Let's get into the market analysis for this video. I didn't give any pick yesterday. You can see that yesterday we had this sort of late day bearish trend day. So how did this come up? Well, we got this move down. We got a tall bounce. We got a test of this support right over here around the gap at around 605. So we tested here, and then we're kind of poking in this level. Test, poke, 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 poke. Here's that gap fill over here. So we're filling it. We've kind of filled in the gap. It's a choppy move. We're testing this level a couple of times here, and then we finally break through. You can see that we get a selling climax to the downside. This nice little bearish hammer tells us that the move is probably over, and we can expect a small bounce. And then the market closed near the low of the day. We got CPI overnight, came in pretty much in line, and you can see we had a pretty decent bounce off of that CPI pre-market, and that had a bit of momentum going into the day. So we have the gap up, that gap held. We had to see if we would poke into that gap a little bit. We had a nice little gap and go. Okay, bearish engulf at the high of the day. We needed to see some downside movement here. And then we got a test, and we weren't really able to break through. So over here, there's a nice opportunity to get long. Now, I wouldn't get long right now. You can see that the market, after its initial move higher, breakout, test, breakout, retest, right? Breakout, retest. So it's starting, this momentum was strong initially. It's starting to slow down over here, top out. So a couple scenarios today. We could kind of chop around. We could get one more little smaller dip to above VWAP, and there could be a nice little late day long. That's the first setup. The other setup is that we could press maybe a little bit lower than the all-time high. So this is a decent level. Even if we get like a little bit above here, that's still fine. Start to compress here a little bit, start to flatten out, start to roll over. Maybe get a little bit of a double bottom, or sorry, a double top pattern where we go up, down, and then we start to inch lower. And that could be a pretty nice shorting opportunity late day. We could have a late day bearish reversal. Now, this is common. Gap up. This move was strong initially, and the volume starting to weaken out over here. Was a lot stronger in the first, 60 to 90 minutes of the day, especially once we got this breakout over here. And then after that breakout, you can see it's starting to trail off, especially on this candle here. We got this nice long green candle. Not a ton of volume. This tiny red doji with actually about equal volume. Yeah, in terms of that little bar here. So volume is sort of drying up now. Buyers a little more passive. Sellers they're still in there, but buyers still have some weak controls. So yeah, I mean, right now, if you didn't get you missed the chance to get long here, right here, you had probably maybe maybe a 15 to 20 minute window to get long. If I didn't get long here, then I would not be long right now. I think either wait for the next little dip, or you have to wait for a shorting opportunity where this starts to stall out, and then we look for some shorts on the downside. But we need to see that market stall out, compress for a little bit, and we need to start seeing some move lower. It would have to be able to at least test VWAP, and if we clear VWAP, then we're in good shape to get through, maybe even get a higher low today. So that's what I'm seeing on the M5 chart. On a D1 chart, if we zoom out here, I wasn't expecting this sort of bullish reaction to the CPI. I thought it'd be a bit more of a dud. And right now, it does a couple things. So one, we have a couple of different scenarios that I want to outline. The first scenario is that this ends up being a double top, right? So we get this move lower. Excuse me. Move lower, double top, and then we really roll over, and maybe we test 600. Maybe we test the AVWAP from the prior all-time high, which is coming in at about 597. Maybe we test the 50 SMA, which by the time the market comes down will probably be somewhere at 580 or 590, something like that. You can see it's upward sloping. So if you give this a couple of days to roll over, maybe 590, 591, 592, so somewhere over here, which would be fine. Now, the major retracement is if we actually make a new low that is lower than this 593 level, 594 level, right? So that would get us close to a VWAP Q, which is going to re-anchor to triple witching this week, or sorry, next week. So that would be deeper retracement, and that would tell us to be careful. So that was kind of the main thing here. Right? We got this dip. This was a decent dip. We also got a dip that also kind of broke through over here. So this deeper dip that was longer, right, took us a little bit more time to absorb and resolve that selling pressure. So that's the first pattern. I give that a 20% chance of happening. I don't see that happening too much in year end, but it could happen. I'm not, insanely confident that it's not going to happen. I'm decently confident it's not going to happen. The other pattern I see is that we have this kind of move down lower, and then buyers gobble up to a new all-time high, move down lower, and we kind of get this sort of action in late February and March, where we're in this kind of narrow bullish channel here. We break out, test the bid, break out, test the bid, break out, test the bid. So we're starting to lose that momentum. And I can see that. I mean, look, you see how this lasted for about a month or so. So this could last all the way until earnings, really. And we could even see a compression into earnings. So, that's the other scenario here where we kind of have, if we clear the all-time high tomorrow, then that tells us that scenario is in line. The other scenario is that after this move lower, we get sort of a compression for maybe 2 weeks to 3 weeks where we're not really doing a whole lot. We just got to be passive. And then on the break of that compression, we can get back into some swings. So that's kind of what we're seeing right now. There's the scenarios. So I give it right now a 20% chance of a retracement down to here, a 40% chance that we kind of compress for a little while sideways between 609 and 602, and then a 40% chance that we have a weak drift higher that has tests of the breakout and the bid, and we slowly inch up higher. So I think in the next couple of days, those probabilities could change, and or they will change, and it should give us some information. So whether we're going to be range bound or whether we are going to start to advance. The main clue is if we make a new all-time high, that tells us that we're more likely to drift up a little bit over here until we see the next sort of topping out pattern where we can see that we get this double top marginal new high going around here, and then we get some sort of bearish engulf, bit of a triple top over here, and that sets the chain a lot lower. All right. Yeah, so those are the scenarios for today. Let's take a look at some of our YouTube picks. So a lot of the picks are doing decent here. Reddit had a dip to that 8 EMA. It held. Now you can see there's some heavy selling pressure here, so it may take a little bit more time to resolve that, but a lot of price targets at 200. So wouldn't mind taking some gains if it gets there. I'm willing to hold this until the next earnings, pending the market not being crazy bearish. UPSD so far got us somewhere around here. We can pretty much scratch the trade on this guy. Not super worried about that. Twilio, nice recovery, back up to that all-time high. You didn't see it didn't sell off much yesterday. Same thing with Netflix, clearing that all-time high, advancing up higher. That is looking good. Team, and kind of, it's not doing very bullish, but it is kind of testing this breakout level here, 270. So it's holding that pretty well. Now we do have a little bit of a bearish channel, but we need to see a tall bounce that breaks through that high minus trend line, and then we're in good shape. GoDaddy broke through over here, so looks like we're still in good shape. We might be in a more of a bearish sort of channel. I'm going to bring up IONQ again. So this is really the type of pattern that we see when the trend is starting to wane. We see more tests, breakout, test of support, breakout, test of support, breakout, test of support. So when we get this, we want to start scaling out on these breakouts, right? And getting out maybe another third, a third, slowly taking out profits when this move is starting to wane. So that's what we're seeing here. I think in really all of the stocks. Netflix, I will take profits at 1,000. I think that's kind of my target here. If that happens, and we got some time before earnings, so cool with taking profits then. But yeah, I mean, overall, like the swings that we have on are in pretty good shape. So what can we do to take advantage of this day? Well, I pointed out that the market's been a nice run. I think our best chance here is going to be looking for opportunities on the short side versus the long side. And so here's what I want to see. I want to see this be a double top, and I want to see this get a nice... Well, first, I want to see us break through, I think, this trend line, which we're starting to break through over here. So that momentum is waning. I'd like to see us double top and start to break through here a little bit. And that would give us pretty much a nice reason to get short. And we're leaning on, 1, this level here, and 2, the all-time high. So that's what I would like to see. Now, this was a nice little volume candle coming in over here, but let's see if we get any follow-through. So I would like to see us kind of compress and get the double top. So let's take a look at a couple of shorts for today. Let's see if we can find anything that looks nice. CVS is getting through some major support. Right around here. Let's take a look at this M5. Okay, yeah. So we got to break through that support test. We're just kind of hugging that low of the day. I do like what I see in CVS. So what I usually do is I look at some day trade charts, and these are just all stocks. This is my my basic relative weakness scan. Pretty much has all the check boxes. Good price, ATR and volume. It's below VWAP, below the priority low. It's relatively weak, and it's below the SMAs and AVWAP E. So it's pretty much just gets us some really nice D1 charts that we can first vet and find some good picks on. CI is looking pretty nice. We could probably day trade that. Let's take a look at this. So massive drop here, and then it's not been able to rally pretty much at all with the market. You can see that here was that test of support right here, 295, chopping around that. It's been actually gradually inching lower. So I mean, I wouldn't mind too much taking it as a short today. I'm not a huge fan of these like giant candles that happen pretty early. So I want to see what it hit here. I feel like it hit something significant. DHI, it's got to get through this earnings candle, so we can set an alert there. Yeah, ideally, like you get in closer to that double top, but there's a lot of TA in the way, so not a huge fan of getting in. I mean, maybe you can get in here, but yeah, not a huge fan of that chart. I'd like to see a bearish stock that is sort of pulling back, or a stock that's really breaking through this level. Same thing with CI. I mean, it's made a really nice move, but you can see how the selling started up over here. So you'd want to get it through maybe even December 5th is when you'd want to get in on that short. So we want to get a move that's a little more fresh. And it hasn't been... okay, so VRNS has more potential because the move is a little bit more fresh. We have this candle here. Earnings candle right over here. So maybe a little bit of support coming in at that level. Not bad. I'm going to tag it. We'll keep an eye on that later. So it's going to keep going through the list. PHM is looking good. You can see the move started over here. So we're getting it on the breakout of that move. Getting through the 50 SMA. We're also through this upward sloping line. Yeah, let's look at this M5 chart. Home builders look pretty weak today. Yep, that's a nice breakdown over here. Let me see where that 50 SMA came into play. Came into play at 123.10. So if I look at 123, yep, here's the breakdown. Here's a test of 50 SMA. Nice sell signal. So PHM looks pretty good. That could be my pick of the day. Let's see if we can find a better pick. But so far, that's the best pick that I see. I really like that setup. Looked at CVS. I do like Uber as a day trade as well. It's made a really big move today. And this is some major support. So we got to see that break. But if we can get a nice little test, lower high, and we start to absorb that and we break through, then I think we have a nice move to the downside. So I do like Uber as well. Let's look at SBLK. Play is a nice move down. Okay, it's compressing. I like that it's actually compressing and digesting the gains. Now there is, so if you're going to get short in here, you have to get short closer to VWAP in my opinion. So you have room to withstand a bounce and you don't take a bigger loss. And this is a bit of a no man's zone. Either you're already in the trade or you're not in the trade, which I guess is every situation in trading. But either you're getting in, right, test, you're getting in somewhere around here, or you are waiting for this breakdown and then you're getting in. So that's what I do in place. So I'm going to wait for that to set up. ELV. Just got to get to that low of the day. OLN. That's pretty nice, actually. Just don't like that kind of... These types of charts are a little bit too crazy. BAX. No, BX has a little bit more of a normal-looking price pattern. There's a bounce. Get in there. Yeah, this is actually probably not a bad place to get in if you're doing it as a short-term swing. Nice. Yeah, DVN, not too bad as well. Energy stocks are weak today. Okay. What I want to see here is, if I'm going to go to pre-configured, we'll look at a couple stuff. Looking at Red Royal Flush here. Okay, Len, nice. It's a nice breakdown. TFC, I'm going to remember Len. I'm going to go back to it in a second. VZ's got to get through some stuff. Dow's looking good. DVN, we ought to take a look at. GM. Okay, let's look at Len. And let's look at this M5 chart. Yeah, nice little bounce over here. Tested that low of the day, moving in lower. And pretty much as soon as the market started to pitter-patter off over here at 12 o'clock, right, you can see here's the stock at 12 o'clock. It's been moving down lower while the market has been flat. So I like what I see in this stock. It does pull back, so you can probably get a nice entry near the 8 EMA or perhaps at a prior breakout level. So I wouldn't even mind getting in at 159. That's a nice little pullback entry. Intraday. That's how I'd enter it. Looking at Pop Bear today. Let's get Allstate. Ooh, a lot of momentum in Allstate. Let's take a look at this. Oh, yeah. Look at that momentum. Super, super steady. Compressing over here. If we can break down through this compression, we might get something good. So I like that. So ideally, I want to see a stock that, like, it is timed up pretty well with the market. Let's look at ZTO. DTH. Let's look at heavy sell. Match. Interesting. Looking at lift. Yeah, I do like CVS. Okay, we're going to go through our tags, and we are going to choose a pick of the day here. By the way, on the long side, Google is looking very nice. Just pull up that chart. Massive move here. Stock, I need to see maybe a bit of a double bottom or a hole of this level here. So one more little test and a bounce, and then we could get something going. So I'm going to set an alert right here. And that could be a nice long, if we get a small market dip, it doesn't do too much. Same thing with Tesla. So I mentioned PHM. I like PHM. Oh, just gonna check this on my trading view over here. PHM daily chart. Oh, I know it's not quite totally centered. Okay, so let's see here. We broke through that SMA. Looks like this. Some high volume candles here. So looks like potentially 119, 120 could be a nice target. There's a good amount of room there for this stock. Maybe a little bit of stuff over here. Yeah, that could be a level of support potentially. It's just a lot of touches at that level. Yeah, so it's looking decent, but maybe a bit of a congestion zone over here at this prior high. So there might be something to watch out for. Let me check Uber. Yes, we're breaking through here. Looks like there's a minor level of support from this candle here. But all in all, there's a decent amount of room to fill in this gap at 58 bucks. It is a little bit extended, but I do like this double top. There's marginal new high here, selling off. So it's been pretty flat in this market rally. And there's a ton of room to this level here and this gap level right over here. So yeah, I don't mind Uber. Oops. That is the wrong stock. ELL. It's a little bit too bullish of a chart. You can feel that when we get this dip, it's not really rolled over yet. This is just a deeper dip than usual. So I don't like day trading those. Yeah. Let me see here. I may go with ooh. Oh, let's look at MRK. Hey, that's actually setting up decently here. Steady grind lower, flat open, right? Get on the bounces. You can shorten over here. There's some money to be made on that side. MRK not bad. Len is also home builder. UPS is bouncing off some support. Let's see if there's any stocks that are making a bearish reversal. Interesting. Let's see. Well, last dish search here. We're gonna do a custom search, see what we can find. I want to see a stock that is relatively weak to the market. I want to see a stock that is below its prior day low and is on a trade signal here. Okay, there's a couple of stuff. So let's take a look at these. Okay, FRO. I do like that. Bit of a cheaper stock. There goes IP. Ooh, okay. LDOS. I like this a lot. Fresh move. Room to that 100-day SMA. Now, it's a bit choppy. So when you get on the bounce, this is actually not a bad time to get in on the stock. LDOS. I like this pick. I think this is going to be my pick of the day. I'm going to see if there's a better one I can find. Let's get Riven. Yep. All right. I'm gonna go with LDOS. That was a nice search. I should run that more. So massive move. I mean, let me see what the hell happened to the stock. Tech stock. Okay, American stock. So I know it's not some random shit in China going on here. And I usually will search in Trade Exchange, LDOS. Let's see what's going on here. LDOS. What the hell's happening here? I mean, there was some major news in the stock. There's no reason it didn't drop. What happened on the 14th? Let's see if there's anything on the 13th to 14th. Search. No results found. Interesting. Let's check if anything in the month of November. There's not a whole lot here. It was raised to 210. There's just some analyst upgrades and downgrades, but that's kind of it. Yeah, I mean, let's see, 160. I'd like to. Ideally, you'd get in this a little bit earlier, but 162 you would take. So yeah, that's gonna be my pick of the day. LDOS as a day trade. And you can even probably take it as an overnight swing. So that's the pick of the day. Thank you for watching, everyone. It looks like the market starting to break down over here, so I may even take a SPY short. We'll see how this candle ends. But yeah, that's the pick of the day, and we will take a look at how this pick did in tomorrow's video.